Good day to all of you. I am AC and I welcome you to the fourth lecture of this video series where we will continue our discussion of some aspects of the English language and its history. In the last lecture, we have tried to chart the itinerary or the route through which Old English progressed as a language. The languages of different Germanic settlers of Britain morphed into what is generally referred to as Old English, and it received significant contribution from other languages like Latin, Danish and French. And by the 13th century, this Old English language had advanced into the Middle English period. So let us now focus our attention to a bigger picture and try to form a general idea about where English stands as a language as in respect to other languages of its family. Many of you may have heard of a family of languages known as Indo-European family of languages, or many of you may have not. Perhaps more of you have heard a term called Aryan or Arjo, a term which you might have learnt about in your history courses during your school days. From a linguistic viewpoint, Aryan was a group of languages and the people who spoke in those languages. Throughout history of our world, these people had spread out into different regions in Asia and Europe. However, currently we use the term Indo-European to refer to the entirety of this family of languages. And the members of this family of languages are many, as it encompasses languages spoken in northwestern Europe as well as the languages which you speak as your mother tongue. Now, some of you might wonder how can a language like Bangla belong to the same family of languages to which English belongs. Let us take a look at one example in order to understand how these languages might be related. In Bengali, you have a word pita. Now, its equivalent in Sanskrit is pitoh. In Greek, it is pater, and in English, it is father. Now, can you notice the similarities between all these languages as seen in this particular example? In the year of 1822, a German philologist named Jacob Grimm discovered some striking similarities between different Germanic languages and languages like Sanskrit, Greek or Latin. His observations led to the creation of something that is known as Grimm's law. Now, one of Grimm's observation, as mentioned by Baugh in his book, was that a P in Indo-European, which was preserved in Greek and Latin also, was transformed into an F in the Germanic languages. Now look at the example again. Can you notice how these words in different languages of the Indo-European family attest to Grimm's observations? How P in some Indo-European languages has transformed into an F in English, which is a Germanic language. Does it not suggest some form of relationship between all these different languages? Also, as an aside, this philologist, Jacob Grimm, was the elder brother of Wilhelm Grimm. And these two brothers, they collected and edited perhaps the best known collection of European folk tales. Now let us consider a different example before we move on. In Bengali, we have a word bhrata. Its Sanskrit equivalent is vrata. In Greek, it is frater, and in English, it is brother. We do not know how far back in history existed the Proto-Indo-European language from which the later languages derived. In fact, the idea of Proto-Indo-European itself is a hypothesized or theorized idea. Because, as Baugh notes, and I quote, the parent tongue from which the Indo-European languages have sprung had already become divided and scattered before the dawn of history. Unquote. Many of the languages that formed this vast family no longer exist as living languages today. The languages of this family are divided into 11 groups, out of which 2 have currently become extinct. These groups are Indian, Iranian, Armenian, Hellenic, Albanian, Italic, Balto-Slavic, Germanic, and Celtic. These are the groups that currently exist in some form or other. Hittite and Tocharian are 2 branches of the Indo-European family which are currently extinct. Let us take a quick glance at the branches of the Indo-European family of languages and also try to locate where English resides. The Indian branch is centered around Sanskrit, as it might be obvious, and this branch contains the oldest literary texts preserved in any of the Indo-European languages, the Vedas, right? The Vedas were written in a Vedic Sanskrit, and later in the 4th century before Common Era, grammarians like Panini gave it a modified form. Later came the different dialects or Prakrits, like Pali for example, and then came the modern languages which are spoken in many nations in the Indian subcontinent, from Bangla to Punjabi. All of these languages belong to this branch. The Iranian branch of the family is mainly represented by Persian or Farsi. Though in earlier times it was mainly divided into Avestan, which is the language in which Zarathustra's teachings were recorded, and Old Persian. Now, Farsi has been an important language in terms of culture and literature for more than 1,000 years. And even in India, it held an important position for many centuries. A few other languages like Afghan, Pashto, and Baluchi are also part of this branch. Next comes the Armenian branch, which can be found in the area around the modern nation of Armenia, which is in the South Caucasus region. And this branch is considered to be very closely related to Iranian and Greek languages. Its alphabet was introduced in the 5th century of the Common Era, and its oldest surviving text from that era is a Bible translation. Next comes the Hellenic group, and the central language of this Hellenic branch is Greek. The Greek language consisted of several dialects, and the modern Standard Greek is derived from one of those, which is the Attic subdialect. This Attic subdialect was spoken by the people of Athens. Other languages in this group like Cypriot are also derived from Attic Greek. Most of the other dialects are extinct, and Saconian, which is derived from a dialect called Doric, is critically endangered. The next group contains the Albanian language, which is spoken mainly by the Albanian people who live in the Balkan region of Europe, and it is spoken in countries like Albania, Montenegro, and Serbia. The Italic branch, as its name suggests, is centered around Italy and the historic language of Rome, that is Latin. Because of the expansion achieved by the Roman Empire, its linguistic influence also spread across Europe. And the modern languages that were formed out of Latin are known as Romanic or Romance languages. Modern Romance languages include Italian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. However, we should keep one dimension of this transformation of languages in mind, and that is these modern Romance languages are mostly informed by Vulgar Latin, which was the language of the masses or the common people, and that was different from Classical Latin, which was the literary and courtly language. Then comes the Balto-Slavic branch, and in this branch we include many languages which are spoken in the eastern part of Europe, in Eastern Europe. In the Baltic group fall the languages Prussian, Latvian, and Lithuanian. Among these, Prussian is now extinct as German displaced it in the 17th century. The Slavic languages are divided into a few different branches. In the Eastern Slavic branch, we have languages like Russian, Belarusian, and Ukrainian. In the Western Slavic branch fall languages like Polish, Czech, and Slovak. And in South Slavic, we can include languages like Bulgarian and Serbo-Croatian. The Germanic languages are divided into East Germanic, North Germanic, and West Germanic group. East Germanic branch is now extinct, and it included Gothic, language of a race which was once very prominent in Europe. North Germanic languages like Swedish, Danish, and Icelandic are found in the Scandinavian region along with island nations in Northern Europe like Faroe Islands or Iceland. West Germanic is the group to which belongs English, our main concern of interest. And to this group also belongs other languages, other modern languages like Dutch, Flemish, Frisian, and German. The last alive member of the Indo-European family of languages is Celtic. And as we have discussed before, at one point of history, the Celtic languages had spread to many regions of Europe and was one of the most significant branches of the Indo-European family. Yet today this branch is represented only by a handful of languages, and most of them are fighting for survival against the onslaught of English. Irish, Scottish Gaelic, Welsh, Cornish, these are some of the surviving languages, and you can find these languages in different parts of the British Islands, in UK and also in Ireland. One important Celtic language in mainland Europe was Gaelic, which was the language of the Gauls, but it was later replaced by Latin when Caesar conquered Gaul. If you have read the comics of Asterix and Obelix, you have read of some partially fictionalized account of what we know about this branch of the Celtic people. So this is where we will end today's discussion. Next time we will start focusing on English as a language.